Grab that chair. You look so good, I can't stand it. Look at you.
That's a lawyer and that's a lawsuit. Mr. Mayor, it's 7 o'clock. Hello. Hello, everybody. How you doing this evening? I would like to call the public hearing to order on the rezoning ordinance 2204. This is the parcel that's going to single-family residential. Is there anybody here? Well, we got a list of people to speak on that zoning request. 2204, I have a list of people that signed up, and if you didn't sign up and you'd like to speak, I'll let you have an opportunity at the end of me calling the folks up. I'll start with Ms. Cindy Sullivan. How are you today? Ms. Cindy Sullivan, how are you doing? Yes, you're on the agenda tonight, and this is a public hearing to talk about what you want to talk about.
You want me to start? Because last month, y'all wound up saying, oh, we need to go back and do the...
Well, yeah, because we thought you were talking about another zoning request. But
No,
this,
it's the same.
it's 2204, okay.
No, it's the same one for us, the
This is the public,
005 and 061.
we got that's coming up next.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. It is. I'm not going to argue with it. Okay. Anybody? All right. Next person, Barclay Wiggs. Barclay Wiggs.
Seems to be some confusion.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, we might want to do
Say what?
clarification. She did say 005.
The
The ordinance is 2204.
It is, but the parcel is 005.
Oh.
And we're back to
I
that.
would just clarify that with her.
It's 005.
Point of information for the public.
Is it 005 or?
It's a little confusing because the parcel is 005 and the ordinance is 04. So that can cause some confusion. So we're going to clarify that. I'm going to yield to the mayor to clarify that.
Okay. So we want to try this again? Okay. Let's try this again, Ms. Sullivan.
Do I need to do name and address and any of that this time? Okay, Cindy Sullivan, 42 Palmetto Wood Court. And first of all, thank y'all for putting up with us all these weeks and helping us learn so much through this process. I think Palmetto Park is in a full agreement now to support the Planning Commission's recommendation to rezone both parcels as residential single-family, RS. And we'll continue working with Great Southern Homes as the development begins and just continue to communicate with them and look at their plans as things go along and address anything that comes up that creates concerns for us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Barclay Wiggs. Barclay Wiggs? Oh. He's yielding to Kathy Kondo. Okay. Ms. Kathy Kondo.
I am, yes. 1102 Javelin Court. You got my phone number.
Speaking to the mic, please.
We've had several discussions with Greater Southern Homes, and they have listened very well. They have been extremely gracious, and they may be lying to me, but it doesn't look like it. They seem willing to make us happy, or at least not to make us angry, and that is probably the most important thing. So I've asked the people in Quail Valley to tell you that all we want you to do is single-family residential zoning. And if you can help us with some covenants or HOA or whatever, we would appreciate it. But I know legally you can't do anything about it. But the zoning is very important. Whether they go in or not, the zoning is very important.
Okay.
And I think I know all of you, and I appreciate your interest, and I'll appreciate your vote. And I'll keep speaking to you.
Thank you very much. Ed Greco. Edward Greco.
Ed Greco, 16 Palmetto Wood Court, Irmo, South Carolina. Thank you for allowing me to speak, first of all. The town of Irmo has a comprehensive plan that was adopted April 2017, and you all are very familiar with it. The primary goal is to promote quality residential development throughout the town of Irmo that maintains the character of existing neighborhoods while allowing for more diversity in housing types, density, and affordability. Residential single meets that goal, so I thank you for that. The objective of residential single, which is what you all already know, is to conserve and protect the character and present use of existing single-family neighborhoods and subdivisions, and to prohibit any use or development which would compromise or infringe on prevailing uses and/or conditions in such areas. Zoning that is residential single will, in my opinion, meet that goal, and I thank you for that. The one ask I have, which has nothing to do with Great Southern Homes, is the intersection of Wellness Boulevard, Woodrow Street, and Palmetto Wood Parkway. When you add the 66 additional neighbors that we're all going to welcome in the next year to two, it is going to create an untenable situation. So whether it is in March of 2022 or November of 2023, I will be talking about that. That is something that is very important to me, and I know to the town of Irmo, based on the comprehensive plan that you have and are willing to execute, very important to you. So thank you for considering the change to residential single, and I look forward to seeing how that intersection will be better managed. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Greco. Mr. Dick Bedro? Dick Bohr. Oh, B-E-H-R. B-O-H-R. Dick Bohr.
I'm sorry, my writing is not all that good.
Well, Mr. Bohr, thank you so much. Come on.
Okay, thank you. I just had a brainstorm just in the past couple of days regarding this, and I'm very pleased to hear about the decision to stick with the single-family homes. But I don't know how to do this, but you guys do know how to do this. That is a majorly good piece of property there. It's right dead center in the developmental area of Irmo. And my suggestion is with the employment that we see surrounding that, all medical businesses, there's a lot of doctors that might like to live in a nice, high-scale development right next door to where they work. I don't know that that's possible, that you all have any way to control that. But, you know, we've got a lot of middle, low-class housing. Why don't we go for an Ascot right in the middle of Irmo? It's just something to mull around if there's any way that this could be done. I don't have any suggestions other than I thought that would be a pretty cool idea. Thank you, Foz.
Thank you very much. Mr. Mike Satterfield.
Good evening, I'm Mike Satterfield, 90 North Royal Tower Road, Irmo. I'm the CEO with Great Southern Homes. I appreciate the opportunity to be here this evening. We've gone through a process that I think has been very productive. Since the meeting on February 15th, we've held a meeting here that you guys allowed us to do, which I appreciate the use of the facility, and presented some conceptuals and listened to the concerns of the constituents here in Irmo. We again met on last Friday afternoon with Cindy Sullivan and Kathy Condom and Eric. Eric, appreciate you facilitating that. Again, I think it proved to be, from my perspective, very productive. I think we've managed to close the gaps, if you will, from where we started with, I think, some 90 townhouses to now down to around 60 single-family detached patio home cottage-style product. I think it'll blend well with the community. I think it proves that you can get there. Listen, can we be all to everybody? We probably can't, but we've taken a path to where we are part of the neighborhood, and we are concerned about things. So we've tried to close those gaps, and I think we've successfully done that. So with that being said, guys, appreciate it. All the staff, council, appreciate your vote on this tonight if possible, but thanks a lot.
Thank you. Mr. Birgit McDade?
Yes.
I'm sorry, Ms. Birgit McDade?
Hi.
Is that right,
Yeah,
Birgit?
Birgit.
Birgit McDade, thank you.
Yes, I am, I live at 1504 Beaver Dam Road, Birgit McDade, and I just wanted to, just a few comments after our last meeting. I'm a resident of Quail Valley since 91, so obviously like the area, raised our kids here. So just a concern about the development. It sounds like things are changing a little bit from what we started with. The property is a very nice piece of property. I hate to see it all mowed over and the trees all gone, but there's development. Just a comment, I think Mr. Satterfield referred to the product, and it's not a product, it's a house, it's a home. And I hope he'll have that attitude when he builds this neighborhood. It's homes for people, it's not just a product that you get out of a factory. It's somebody's home, and that's what makes a neighborhood. It's a home, it's not just some place to be there for a short term and get out. And so that's what I'm hoping that going forward, you can recommend things that would make it more like somebody actually lives there and it's not just a hotel, a long-term hotel, that kind of thing. But we appreciate what you're doing to try to make Irmo better and try to have long-term results from what you're doing. Thank you.
Thank you. Mrs. Scott Jones. Scott Jones?
I signed up to speak, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Wrong paperwork, sorry about that.
No problem, no problem.
Mr. Mayor, that doesn't surprise me for 1 minute.
Or anybody else here.
Mr. John Ashford. Mr. John Ashford. Oh, okay. See, that's what happens when you come in late, you know. You can't find a seat and you have to sign the wrong paper, you know. That's fine. Ms. Lauren Small.
Hi, I'm Lauren Small, and I live on Quail Valley East. And I just wanted also to ask that you zone it, the single-family residential, and just that we can make sure wherever the entrance is, that we can accommodate traffic and make sure it won't be just really a chaotic mess in there. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Ms. Mandy Sims. Bentley Court?
No, sir, wrong paper.
Wrong paper? No problem. Is there anybody else who'd like to talk about the public hearing that I did not call your name and you want to speak on the rezoning of the public, on the public hearing portion? Seeing none? All right. I'm calling that public hearing to a close, and I'm calling the next public hearing to order on Ordinance 2205. 2205, and this is all this money we're about to give away tonight in the form of grants. Is there anybody to speak on that ordinance, 2205? Nobody's against that? Nobody's for it? Okay. All right. Call that public hearing to a close. We are now going to start with our council meeting. Call that council meeting to order. It's the March 15th, 2022 council meeting, and I want to thank y'all all for being here tonight. We have a special treat. I have the Girl Scout troops 785 and 810. Will y'all come up here and they will do the Pledge of Allegiance after they tell us a little bit about themselves. So ladies, and by the way, they don't have any Girl Scout cookies, so we have to hold it against them. You tell me more afterwards? All right. If y'all would just, will you stand and let us know a little bit about yourselves, ladies, and then will you do the Pledge of Allegiance for us, please?
So I can already see you're all standing, so let's cite the Pledge of Allegiance.
Okay.
I pledge allegiance
To
to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible,
with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated. So, we are Troop 785, and this is Troop 810 right here. Y'all can wave. They're a bit shy. So, I'm Pearl. I'm 13. I'm a senior in Girl Scouts, and I've been in Girl Scouts I'm coming up on 10 years, actually. And this is Kennedy. We both go to Irmo Middle School.
Hi, I'm Kennedy. I'm 13, and I'm a cadet, and I'm coming up on 6 years of Girl Scouts.
So we're from East Lake Church, actually, and we would like to thank them for letting us hold our meetings there, do all our badge work. We're really grateful for them.
So our troop does a lot of badges and journeys, and some of them we do, when we take trips, we do get badges for them, and some of them we don't. A couple trips we've taken, we've gone camping, we've gone to Carowinds, we've done whitewater rafting and snow tubing.
So since a lot of our girls, they do sports and stuff, they may go to different schools. We actually have one girl who lives an hour away from us, but Girl Scouts really gives us that time to just spend some time together, do something fun, meet together. That's why we love Girl Scouts so much. It's really been a blessing for us.
Some things our troop has done is we have planted trees for the community, built benches and painted a space for Irmo Elementary School, and more. We would love to tell you more, but we're short on time.
Thank you so much for giving us your time. And unfortunately, as you may have heard already, we are out of Girl Scout cookies. Someone actually sold us out the other day. But if you are looking for Girl Scout cookies, tomorrow there will be a Daisy Troop at the Allstate next door, and they will be selling cookies at, I do believe, 4:30.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you, ladies. Might need to do that. Thank you, ladies, very much. I appreciate that. I'd like to take a moment in silence, and we'll have our invocation. As we know, this country is blessed to be in a situation where we can go out and enjoy ourselves and not have to worry about Canada invading us or Mexico. Well, Mexico may be invading us, but we are blessed that we don't have to worry about getting our houses blown up in the middle of the night. I don't know if y'all been following the news, but what's going on in foreign country over there, it's just terrible. And I wanted to pray that God will find solace and find some heart in Mr. Putin to scale back this offensive that he's doing and give those folks a break. Give those folks a chance to go back to their homes. Small kids are just being devastated. So I pray that we will, as Americans, will support these folks, not get into the fight, but support them with everything that we can. And I pray that the town of Irmo will support them when they come over here, if they do come over here, and help them experience what we experience in the town of Irmo. In your name, I pray, amen. Thank you. I would like to continue our meeting with the reading of the minutes. We have received the minutes from the February 15th, 2022 meeting electronically. Are there any modifications to the electronic meetings minutes that we got? Is there a motion for approval?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any changes that we had to that? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed? We also received the March 1st, 2022 minutes electronically. Are there any changes to those? Is there a motion for approval?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Is there any changes to those minutes? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
By the way, there's some seats up front here now. If y'all want to have a seat, anybody that's standing in the back, you can come up front. Administrative briefing. Mr. Dennis has given us his administrative briefing electronically, and I didn't see any changes. Did anybody has any changes for Mr. Dennis? Mr. Dennis, do you have any changes for me? Okay, great. Also, the council, thank you. New in town businesses. Are there any new in town businesses, Mr. Sickinger?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, there are. Capital City Counseling, Bath and Bronze LLC, Jack Sweets, Midlands Dumpster Services, Franklin Defense, and Wealth Logistics LLC.
Fantastic. Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Amendments to the agenda. Are there any amendments to the agenda? Seeing none?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I have an amendment to the agenda. I would like to make a motion that we delete item 12 under discussion, as it hasn't been presented to the Irmo Future Growth, and it would have to go to their board at this point, so it would be inappropriate to have this discussion.
I just wanted to discuss it. We're not voting on anything. Just to tell you where the council feels. If that's your motion,
I'll second.
it's out of, I rule it out of order. We don't,
Wait,
we're
That
not-
would be
we're not-
incorrect.
We're not voting on anything. We're just simply
I'm making a
discussing.
motion to delete it,
Well,
and there's a second on the table.
well, I haven't recognized the second. I rule it out of order.
Point of order.
It's, to make an amendment to the agenda, it has to be something that will require a vote of council at the meeting, and it must be voted on following the public adopted rules of procedure for the agenda, okay?
Point of order.
Okay? I haven't recognized you yet. I will in a second. Again, we're just talking about a discussion item. We're not voting on any expenditures of any money. And,
We're discussing amendments to the agenda. I defer to our attorney. Well,
wait a minute, I'm deferring, I'm answering your call. Mr. Sickinger, you said point of order, you had a point of order. What's your point of order, Mr.
Yeah,
Sickinger?
point of order. It doesn't, I understand what you're looking at, and I agree with it, for a new item sent to the agenda. I'd like for a ruling of our attorney, if it's out of order or not.
To say it again, please?
I'd like a ruling by the attorney as to whether or not that's out of order or not.
Okay.
The appropriate time to make a motion to amend the agenda is at this time when the agenda adoption is before the body. A motion has been made, a second has been made under Robert's Rules 41.63. it would be appropriate to have a vote now on the proposed motion to amend the agenda to delete that discussion item.
Okay, so it's been properly moved and second. Roll clerk, call the roll.
You know who we are.
Mr. Bush,
Yes.
Mr. Danielson,
Yes.
Mr. Sickinger,
Yes.
Dr. Waldman,
Yes.
Mayor Walker.
No. Okay, thank you. All right, well then that discussion item will be stricken from the agenda. And when the agenda was published, I wish you would come out and talk to me about it ahead of time so we don't have to make amendments to the agenda on the fly. Thank you. Consideration of communications. Join me down front here, please. We, from time to time, recognize businesses in the town of Irmo and call them the Business of the Month. And this month, I am proud to recognize Corley Compound. Where's Mr. Corley? Oh, there he is. Come on up.
didn't see the big
And Mrs.
birds.
Corley, come on up. Mrs. Corley, you gonna come up too? Come on up. Come around. Come on up.
Just pretend there's stuff here and you go to.
Let me give you a little background. Mr. Corley here graduated with my son from Irmo High School and has stayed in the community, did move away, and his wife. I know you guys have a little baby, right? And Mr. Corley has started his own business where he will go around and pick up yard debris and big items, bulk items, similar to what our present purveyor does, but he's a little more efficient at it. And all I've been seeing is how great of a job he's been doing. So in that light, the council and the committee has ready to present Corley Compound in recognition of being the Small Business of the Month for the town of Irmo for the month of March 2022. And Mr. Corley, I want to thank you for your work.
Thank you so much.
And if y'all would give me You want to say a few words about your business or anything?
I want to thank everybody. I want to thank God for allowing everybody to be here. I want to thank my family. I want to thank everybody who's been a part of Corley Compound. And I also want to thank the town of Irmo for the continued support. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, anytime you have any bulk items you need to get picked up or any kind of a refuse or trash, branches and stuff, give Corley Compound a call. They are a business in Irmo. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank y'all.
All right.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay, I'd like to call Mr. Keith Lauer up here. I have a proclamation that I would like to read. And Mr. Keith Lauer, yeah, he wants to take a picture. Thank you. Mr. Keith Lauer here represents the Donate Life Foundation. And he's a recipient of a liver. And as y'all may know, I'm a kidney patient. I'm looking for body parts and haven't received one yet. But I wanted to give this proclamation to donate the month of April as the 2022 National Donate Life Month in the town of Irmo. So I'll read this proclamation to you. Whereas one of the most meaningful gifts that a human being can bestow upon another human being is the gift of life through organ, eye, and tissue donation. Whereas more than 106,000 children and adults awaiting life-saving transplants of more than 1,500 are in South Carolina. And whereas 2021, first time ever, 221 South Carolinians said yes to organ donation, living organ donations, and transplant of 548 organs, saving the lives of 479 people awaiting a second chance at life. And whereas in 2021, 356 Carolinians said yes to tissue donation, enhancing more than 45,000 American lives. And whereas an average of 17 people die each day awaiting for an organ transplant, and every 9 minutes, another name is added to the National Transplant Waiting List. And whereas, according to the national research conducted by Donate Life America, more than 90% of Americans support donations of more than 62% of South Carolinians, over 2.4 million residents have said yes, and at the DMV. And whereas the decision to become an organ donor can save up to 8 lives, tissue donation can enhance many more. Men, women, and children who depend on the generosity of others to the giving a second chance at life. And whereas every person should support this life-saving effort by learning more about organ, eye, and tissue donation, making their families aware of the decision to register online through donatelifesouthcarolina.org or when they receive or renew their South Carolina driver's license. Now, therefore, I, Barry A. Walker, Mayor of Irmo, South Carolina, do hereby proclaim the month of April as Donate Life Month throughout the town of Irmo, and call the observance to the attention of all of our citizens in witness thereof. I hereunto set my hand on this 15th day of March. Mr. John, thank you. Thank you. You want to say something?
It's an honor to be here with you all. Truly an honor, a second chance honor. I am a liver recipient of 3.5 years, and probably touched me back about 30 years in life. And I feel great. You can go to your DMV. You can register online. Like I said, I do work a regular full-time job now, and this is just my part-time volunteering and giving back. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Congratulations. Thank you. Yeah. This is a point of the meeting where we're going to be giving out recipients of the grants that we have awarded. Will the representatives from the Ivy Heritage Foundation come forward?
Oh.
Or all of them. Hey, how you doing, ladies?
Yeah, nice blazers. That's awesome.
Ladies of the AKA. How are you? And the ladies of the AKA are working on a project in the town of Irmo, building our first community garden, which they've raised tons of money for. And who am I giving this check to? You? Or who's the president? You are. Okay. This is your award of your grant money from which y'all have applied for. And we are proud as the town of Irmo to hand over your first award check. Got it? Thank you, ladies. Thank you. And congratulations. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. My wife's going to want to apply.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Hey.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. District 5 Foundation. Anybody from the District 5 Foundation here?
I still find it odd that the guy from the school district can't know which paper to sign, which is
If you don't put your glasses on, you can't see a thing. Okay, that's where I'm at. And I'm ordering jackets tomorrow.
Okay.
Just telling you.
Here we go. Well, ladies and gentlemen, from District 5 Foundation, here's your check that we gave you, that grant that you requested. The council is proud to be able to award that to y'all, and we just want to make sure you take a good picture so we can have it in the Irmo News. Congratulations. Thank you. Irmo Elementary PTA. Ms. Wiggs, where are you? She is.
Got to get the little ones up here.
Oh, yeah. Hello, Ms. Wiggs. Hey, how you doing?
We're good. Perfect.
Well, here you go. Ladies and gentlemen, from the Irmo Elementary PTA, we are happy to award you this grant.
Thank you so
There you
much.
go.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Irmo Outreach.
Two down, 20 to go.
Irmo Outreach, Mr. Deloche and Mr. Edmonds, stand over here. We are, the town of Irmo is excited to give you this grant. You're gonna take the check?
Yes.
All right. We're so happy to give you this grant, and you know, we know that you do a lot of good work in the town of Irmo and have done already in the past, so we're happy to award this to you and continue your success of doing what you do in town.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Universal Community Improvement Association.
AK.
Other-
Changing that name, I can't keep track.
Otherwise known as the youth zone.
Other than that, AKA.
Hello, how you doing? Come on over here. Dr. Johnson? Hey. Dr. Ross, thank you. We are excited to award you this grant check, Dr. Johnson, from the town of Irmo, in the hopes that you can continue your success in doing what you do in our town. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
How you feeling? Better.
Friesgate.
Thank you.
Friesgate Skate Park. Hey. How y'all doing? Here you go. Guys, here we go. We're more than happy. These are another piece of the puzzle at the Rawls Creek Park. This is a skate park committee. They guys are working diligently to reality, and we are excited to award you this grant in the process of doing what you're doing. So, thank you. Appreciate it. South Carolina Kings Foundation. Hey, thank you. Come over here. South Carolina Kings Foundation, I'm more than excited about the project that you guys are working on. You've applied for this grant, and we are happy to be able to award this to you. Appreciate your diligence of doing your project in the town of Irmo. Thank you. Thank you. St. Andrews Women's Club. Okay.
No, you are.
Well, ladies, thank you so much, St. Andrews Women's Club, appreciate it. We are excited to award this grant to you on behalf of, from the town of Irmo to you guys. And we are more than happy to hand over this check to you and hope that you will do some great things in the town of Irmo, ladies. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
Irmo Fire Foundation. Hey, how are you? She's on.
Slide right on in here.
Come on over.
Yeah, come on in.
Well, can y'all got everybody? Well, thank you so much, Irmo Fire Foundation. We are more than happy to award you this grant check for the project that y'all are working for in the town of Irmo. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
And finally, Irmo Police Department Community Foundation. Hey. Hey. Irmo Community Foundation, you guys do such great work in the town, and you've always worked with us on our National Night Out and other projects. I know this is going to a specific project. I want to thank you again for what y'all do, and I'm glad that we will leave Ordinance check to you to start off your campaign for your drone. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Everybody's time. Everybody's time.
There you go. All right. Great. Thank y'all. Thank y'all. We can go back up. Okay. Continue on the Security Communications. We have the Artist of the Month. We have been blessed to be able to now start a new program where we're going to feature different artists of the month in the town hall of Irmo, right in the foyer when you come into town hall. What you have in front of you is this current artist of the month, who is
I believe it's Sean Madden. I believe
Sean Madden?
They sent over. He did those 3 pieces.
Yeah, so just like we had the Business of the Month, we're going to have an Artist of the Month, and I want to thank council for allowing that to happen and be in the foyer of the town hall. If you want to come by sometime and look at it live, it's a very nice painting that he did in renditions of different scenes around the town of Irmo. Thank you all very much, and thank you for Sean Madden for to be the first one. Every month we're going to have a different artist featured. So I'd like to continue on with this school showcase from Irmo Middle Intermediate International Academy Magnet. Who's from that? Come on up, please. This is something new, right, that we're doing? Okay. We'd like to feature things that are happening around the school district. And this particular month is the Irmo International, Irmo Middle School International Academy Magnet. Thank you.
Good evening.
Pull a mic up this, thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Aisha Odom, and I'm actually a proud graduate of Irmo High School myself, and I have been teaching at Irmo Middle School for the past 8 years. And I just wanted to share some of the great things that we're doing at Irmo Middle School. I have myself, Dr. Thur, and Mr. Joseph here with me. We have a plant sale coming up April 1st and April 2nd. It'll be a live plant sale at our school. And on the 4th and the 5th, it'll go online. They'll do an online one like we did last year. We have our orchestra. They received a superior rating last week, and we actually have one of our students, an 8th grader. She received All-State Award for playing in orchestra. We have a middle schooler who won first place in January in wrestling in the heavyweight division. It's actually a young lady. Our boys basketball team is second in the PAC tournament this year, and our girls basketball team won first place in the PAC tournament this year. And also D5 Foundation is here. We received a grant from them to start IMS Cares. It's coffee and reliable experiences shop on campus where my algebra readiness students, along with Dr. Thur's special education classes, we collaborate together and we make and we sell coffee and pastries to the teachers and staff at our school. 3 days a week, and it's just an amazing to see the students going around. They're paired up with one another, and they're doing those different experiences. Every last one of my classes are doing something towards it. Whether my 6th graders, they're actually the ones they're our marketing department. So anything that is shown or online or posted about our coffee shop, they are the ones that we presented to them. My first period and my second period students, they're 7th and 8th grade algebra and pre-algebra students. They're the ones who's going downstairs with Dr. Thur's class, and they all have jobs and they're working together. And if they're not actually in the shop actually working at the moment, they're collaborating together and they're working on math skills, and they're doing dream box learning with each other, and we're just building those relationships. And my 6th and my 7th period students, they're doing the behind the scenes, making sure we have everything that we need stocked up. We're looking at local companies in the area. We spoke to Mr. Loveland. We've spoken with Brueggel's Bagels, and there's different donations coming in. So it's just been absolutely amazing just to see the different collaboration within our school and within our community and the great things that we have going on. So I'm gonna let Dr. Thur and Mr. Joseph speak. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Odom. Just to touch base more, teach special education, special needs, self-contained, and this opportunity allows my students to partner with Ms. Odom's class, and it's making a difference. It's meaningful for them. They enjoy it. They either get to make the coffee or clean up crew. It's not particularly popular, but someone's got to do it. Delivery, ordering, just different things that you need to run a coffee shop with. And my students, my special needs students are enjoying it. It's a great opportunity. So thank you for the foundation for allowing this to happen.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Mansa Joseph. I am proud to serve as the interim principal at Irmo Middle School currently. I'm just going to take a moment to say thank you guys for this moment, this showcase, because there's so much negative news out there, and so many times the negative is highlighted and one bad moment continues and continues because of social media and because of people talking about that one negative bad moment. But there are so many awesome things that are happening within our schools. We've had students stand up here and present tonight. We've had teachers here, and moments like this where we get an opportunity to say, hey, here's the positive, here's the great things that we're doing. We are so appreciative of you guys doing this, and I hope that you guys continue it because it means so much. There's so much value in getting a moment to share what our kids are doing, what our teachers are doing, and at a time where there's a teacher crisis and teachers are figuring out, am I valued? You guys are saying, yes, you are. Here's a platform to present what the great things that you're doing. So on behalf of our teachers, my kids, our community, our schools, I want to say thank you, thank you, thank you. Continue the great work.
Thank you. And we thank you. We thank you very much. Now I'd like to bring up the Irmo International Festival, the community project we got going on. Dr. Kinley? Oh, okay, thank you. Dr. Kinley, tell us about this big festival that you're planning.
Yes, well, I also want to say thank you so much to you all for providing the funds for this festival to take place. And I also want to let you all as council members know how extremely helpful the staff for the town of Irmo has been. The mayor's been to all of our meetings. Whit Klein has come to help us with great advice, great information. Everybody who works in that building over there has been more than helpful, more than encouraging. We couldn't have done that without them. But the festival is planned for April 24th, and amazingly, things are rolling along. We've got live music. We've got a DJ for the whole day. We've got student dancers. We've got a professional Chinese dancer. We've got a Chinese art exhibit that will be there. We've got a bucket band from Oak Point Elementary School. We've got a lot of really great entertainment. But one of the things we're doing that I do want you to know about is we've invited students from 5 of the Midlands counties to take part in an art competition. There are cash prizes for those students. We will have an art exhibit that day, and we'll present the winners on that day. We've also got a great art project on the ground in the park, which will begin on Monday before the festival on Sunday, April the 24th. Community members are invited to take part. It's a Rangoli, which is an Indian art form, and it's made with colored rice, pasta, corn, bark, coffee grounds, flowers, and people can work every afternoon beginning at 5. And then at the festival, people can come and spend the whole day adding to the art form. When it's complete, and we will have a drone take pictures of it from the sky because it's enormous. Then we leave it for the wildlife to enjoy. So even the couple of days later, you might be able to see what's there. I also want to let you know that we're going to have a storytelling tent. We're going to focus on 2 things, international stories and also stories about the town of Irmo's history. And we've got folks whose families have been here for generations who are going to share stories about the town of Irmo. There's going to be a bouncy house and a lot of great food, so we hope everybody will come. There's some flyers out on the table out there if anybody wants to know. Thank you again for the funding, and we hope that this will bring tourism and a sense of community, will enhance the sense of community that already exists for Irmo. Thank you.
Sunday, thank you. That's Sunday, April 24th, 2022, and I hope to see a lot of people there. Any more consideration and communications?
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, sir.
Surprisingly, somehow we missed something. So the Irmo Elementary PTA, who we just saw, they are sponsoring a play date in the park Saturday, April 2nd from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. at the community park. And it's going to be a play date. Food, and bring your kids and bring your families.
Okay, play day in the park, when's it, April what? April 2nd, okay. Great. And lastly, I wanted to mention, I've gotten several emails from people about the swing set in the park and the implements in the park. Since you guys are having a play date in the park, as you know, everybody will be using our swing set and playground equipment. Miss Cheryl Johnson came in and wrote me a long letter and even brought pictures of some of the things that they had at another park, and they're asking town council to look at adding some more additional implements and features to our swing set. Now, we got a bunch of money from ARPA, and, of course, we gave grant money to the Irmo Future Growth Corporation. Hopefully, we'll be able to come to some kind of a happy medium where we can purchase some more equipment so that when you do have your play date in the park, kids aren't lined up for hours waiting to get on the swing because somebody's hogging it. So that's something that we'd like to talk about, and I'm sure if Ms. Johnson is here, she'll talk about it later on in the meeting. Any other consideration of communications? We had a pretty long before we get to our meeting. Seeing none, presentation by citizens on agenda items. Anybody here to talk about any of the agenda items that you didn't talk about? Seeing none, we're going to move right on. Unfinished business. Second reading and final reading of Ordinance 2204. This is to rezone the tract of Palmetto Woods Parkway to single family, rezoning only of the tract. Is there a motion for second and final reading?
So moved.
Mr. Sickinger made a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Mr. Bush seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, will the clerk call the roll, please?
Mr. Bush?
Yay.
Mr. Danielson?
Recused.
Mr. Danielson's recused.
Mr. Sickinger?
Yes.
Dr. Waldman?
Yes.
And Mayor Walker?
Yes. So that has rezoned, this is the final reading. That means that that parcel has now been rezoned as single-family residential. I urge the residents and the people living in that community to continue to work with the Great Southern Home people, as well as look at our strategic plan, which is what we have on our screen right now. If you look at that yellow, that box on the bottom, that's what it's zoned right now. It has commercial. We just rezoned it to single-family residential, which is what our strategic plan has called for. And following that, that's what we had decided we were going to make our town look like. So thank y'all very much for all the input that y'all have given us, and we are appreciative of that very much. Second and final reading of Ordinance 2205. This is as you saw tonight, we have given out several checks to people through grants. But this is to allocate the first tranche of money, $2.269 million that we received from President Biden and the American Rescue Plan. We are in, thank y'all very much for coming. I'll make a motion for second and final reading. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Sickinger, second. Thank you very much. Any other discussion on what we have done with it or propose to do with it? Seeing none, will the clerk read a roll?
Mr. Bush?
Yay.
Mr. Danielson?
Yay.
Mr. Sickinger?
Yes.
Dr. Waldman?
Yes.
And Mayor Walker?
Yes. Thank you. New business. First reading of Ordinance 2206. We have some properties that have been needed. Is that it? Yeah. We have some properties that were mix-max zoned, if you will. We need to correct that. Is there a motion for first reading? Is there a motion for first reading of zoning?
I'll move.
Yes?
Second.
Yes, that was a move. So second.
Second.
Motion and second. Thank you, Mr. Sickinger. Mr. Sickinger, do you have any comments on this?
No comments, other than my understanding is this is a cleanup.
Yeah. Mr. Danielson?
That's the same. Cleanup.
Okay. Mr. Bush?
Do any of these cleanups have any major consequences, or are they just, I'm just kind of looking through the map here.
You got one one particular parcel, help me out, Courtney, one particular parcel is zoned commercial and then neighborhood commercial?
Yeah,
in the
so I'll
back
give
of
you
it?
one of the examples. When Starbucks located in there, they ended up buying 3 parcels. 2 of those parcels were CG, one of them was CN. What they did is obviously they consolidated all 3 parcels onto one tax map number, but they didn't come through the town hall to get that plat stamped and appropriately determined. The way we've caught it is we've been updating our GIS files, so we've been grabbing the shape files from both Lexington and Richland County, and Mr. Tucker's been working real hard on putting those on our official zoning map. So these are discrepancies that we're seeing when we're overlaying those new files. We've taken it to Planning Commission, explained it to them. These are the recommendations that came back.
Will any of these landowners need any kind of like notice, or as far as do they need to be notified that there's
Yeah, so at the Planning Commission, all of them received letters.
Okay.
We also sent letters to surrounding properties. Rodney, how many letters did we send out? 200? About 200 letters went out with this particular ordinance because of so many affected properties. And it was posted.
Okay.
Dr. Wall?
I don't have any questions.
Okay, will the clerk read the roll, please? You have it? Will the clerk read the roll?
Mr. Bush?
Yay.
Mr. Danielson?
Yay.
Mr. Sickinger?
Yes.
Dr. Waldman?
Yes.
And Mayor Walker?
Yes. Approval to award nonprofit grants in the amount of $25,000 from the ARPA funds to Soul to Soul Foundation and Building You. Mr. Danson, you put that on the agenda. Is there a motion?
There is a motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Mr. Danielson, you want to explain this? Or?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. We discussed this at a work council, and it's the work we've suggested that these two ladies combine their efforts, and I think I can speak for myself and say that I'm very supportive of the work that they do, and am willing to help them as we go along, as I have to this point, and give them a chance to consolidate into one space, one physical space, and grant this award, but with very strict contingencies, so to speak. And we would pay their first year of rent directly to the landlord. I've spoken with the landlord. The landlord is very easy to work with, very amenable. And then we would lay out further funds to get to the $25,000 as they move along. And they need a little structure, they need a little help, and that's what we're going to try to do here. The fallback from the town's position is we were on the hook for a year for a lease, or they're on the hook. We've already spent the money. But he would be very amenable to us staying in there and putting an art studio in there if that's what we decided to do as the town. So we have a fallback. Hopefully we're not going to get to that, are we, ladies? No. So that's my motion.
Second?
Yeah, that about says it all. I'm in favor.
Okay, Mr. Bush?
Yep, with the intentions that they have and the conditions that they've met, I'm in favor.
Dr. Wallman?
I'm in favor as well, particularly with the conditions of the grant.
Okay, all right. And my question is, we haven't spelled out the condition of the grant. It's for awarding them for facility lease, which I understand that if something should go south, we have that facility under our purview. Is that right? And we're going to pay the electric bill for that year also? No. Okay, what about the water and sewer? So we're just paying the rent on the building, that's it. So if we should get it back and have to take it over, we have to then pay the electric and the water and everything that's involved with renting that unit. Is that right?
That's right.
So I don't understand, what's the sustainability of this project? What is, after 1 year, what happens? they should have joined enough force to become sustainable? I mean, just like we've put
That's the goal.
that's the onus that we put on the other awardees.
Right.
And we think that you can do that, and you're saying that we have enough confidence that we can do that?
Yes, we wouldn't make the motion if we didn't.
Okay, well, I don't know, I don't see that as being a sustainable project the way it's written right now, and I don't know what the conditions, the special conditions are, except for what we kind of talked about here. Do we want to spell that out before we make, we're going to award this, we're going to spell this out before we actually give them a check, or?
Mr. Mayor? Page 44 of our packet writes out the special conditions.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Well.
Call for a vote.
Any other comments? That's it? Clerk, read the roll.
Mr. Bush?
Yay.
Mr. Danielson?
Yay.
Mr. Sickinger?
Yes.
Dr. Waldman?
Yes.
And Mayor Walker?
No. Okay. Approval of revision of the revised intergovernmental joint use agreement that we approved several months ago. As you know, we had to have amended to include the skate park. Is there a motion for approval of the revised intergovernmental agreement?
I'll move.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Well, Mr. Bush second. Okay. Mr. Sickinger, any comments?
No, I'm in favor.
Mr. Bush?
I'm in favor.
Okay. Mr. Danielson?
None here.
Dr. Wallman?
I'm in favor.
Okay, all right. Will clerk read the roll, please?
Mr. Bush?
Yay.
Mr. Danielson?
Yay.
Mr. Sickinger?
Yes.
Dr. Waldman?
Yes.
And Mayor Walker?
Yes. Approval to submit a grant request to the South Carolina Department of Public Safety for a school resource officer in the amount of $150,000. I'll make that motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. As you know, we are in the process of growing our police force, and one of the ways we're going to do it is start with Irmo Elementary by growing our presence there with a full-time resource officer in the school. And we found a way to do this through a grant from the Department of Public Safety and the school district participation. And I'm excited that we're going to put that through and make it happen. Mr. Bush.
That looks like a well-paid police officer. Is there ancillary costs in there, or how does that break out, sir?
Yeah, so the grant not only has personnel costs, but it has some equipment costs, including a vehicle and laptop, and so it's all incumbent upon, it's got all the benefits, everything. So,
All right.
Dr. Ballman,
I have no questions.
Mr. Sickinger.
The only concern I have is that I know we discussed this 2.5 years ago, and I would like to direct a town staffer to provide those minutes from that meeting. Is this a single vote, or is this a?
Single vote.
Okay. Because I know that there were some legitimate concerns about doing that, and I think we unanimously agreed not to move forward with that. However, that said, I have a hard time arguing against it. So I can't remember why we didn't like to do it in the first place, but I'm especially based on the grant, I'm in favor.
Well, this is a grant now.
Yeah.
Okay. Mr. Danielson.
Yeah, I think this is approval to submit the grant, correct? It goes no further than that at this point.
that's correct. The next step would be in late September, we would receive notification on if we would be awarded the grant, and then council would have to make a decision to accept the award.
Thank you.
Yeah, if you get a $150,000 grant, we have to vote to accept it. Okay. Any other comments? Clerk, read the roll, please.
Mr. Bush?
Yay.
Mr. Danielson?
Yes.
Mr. Sickinger?
Yes.
Dr. Waldman?
Yes.
And Mayor Walker?
Yes. Approval to submit a grant request to the Department of Public Safety again for $108,000 to replace the aging tasers that we have on our police force. We have a 10% match, so that's $10,800. And I assume that this taser, or they need to be replaced every so often. Is that what it is?
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor. It's been quite a while since we've replaced our entire taser outfit. We started with them in 2004, 2005.
Okay.
We still have some officers that are carrying those tasers from that long ago. We like to think that they would work if needed, but with an upgrade, we'll be reassured that they've got what they need.
Gotcha. I'll make that motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay. And again, the old tasers, we don't know if they're any good, but are they any resale value? I mean,
If there could be, it would not be very much with the way technology is.
yeah, I was just curious. All right, got it.
But we would look into that, yes, sir.
All right, Ms. Signature?
Hard to argue with a 90-10 grant, so I'm in favor.
Mrs. Danielson?
Is the 10,008 in our budget going forward? I believe it is. I might be wrong.
No, it would, this grant as well would move into the October timeframe, so it'd go into our next
Next
year's
year. Okay.
budget. And then if we were awarded and it got accepted, you guys would vote on it, we would amend the budget for that amount.
I'm in favor.
Mr. Bush?
I think they've answered all my questions.
Dr. Wallman?
I'm satisfied.
Okay. And the clerk read the roll.
Mr. Bush?
Yay.
Mr. Danielson?
Yay.
Mr. Sickinger?
Yes.
Dr. Waldman?
Yes.
And Mayor Walker?
Yes. Approval to submit a grant request to the South Carolina Department of Parks and Recreation, Tourism, PARD, in the amount of $128,000. This is the 80-10 grant match. I'll make that motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, this is a grant request we've previously were going to submit under the old administrator. Now we've finally gotten all the paperwork together and gotten the contracts corrected, and we accepted those contracts. So now we are going to formally submit it, and that's where we are. Is Mr. Sickinger?
I'm excited to see this brought back to the table. And I'm sorry, just point of information. I had a resident contact me that the stream is down. Can you check that?
Say it again, please.
The stream,
live stream?
Live stream is down. Just a point of information, but back to the order here, I'm in favor.
Mr. Danielson?
Yes, I'm in favor.
Mr. Bush?
We love grants.
Mr. Dr. Wallman?
I'm in favor.
Okay, great. Will the clerk read the roll, please?
Mr. Bush?
Yay.
Mr. Danielson?
Yay.
Mr. Sickinger?
Yes.
Dr. Waldman?
Yes.
And Mayor Walker?
Yes. And on a footnote, we submitted that grant and we received it. So we got $128,000 to start with the Rawls Creek project after putting in the paperwork, proper paperwork and stuff. That's a very good thing. And then if you notice on our agenda, the last 4 items were grants, which is one of the things that I talked about when I became mayor. I like to see more of those things happening. A few years ago, under the old administration, we never hardly saw grants that were awarded, and we never even applied for them. But with this new town administrator and this new council, I'm proud to say that we are going after grants, as many as we can find. And that's helping us run our town much more efficiently, and I'm happy to be a part of that. Thank you. Approval of the contract writing for the Okra Strut for Cowboy Mouth. Is there a motion for the contract approval?
I'll move.
I'll second.
Okay, great. Mr. Signature?
Well, I don't know much about, I don't think I'd ever would say this out loud. I don't know much about Cowboy Mouth, Mr. Mayor. I would like to hear from.
They're good.
Chair. Is that okay?
They're good. They're top notch.
Shocks me.
Dr. Wallman?
I'll defer to Mr. Lindauer.
Okay. Anybody else?
This is not Shania Twain.
I know.
Just saying.
I noticed that. Mr. Bush? You don't know. All right. Tell us about Cowboy Mouth.
Cowboy Mouth is a band from New Orleans, Louisiana. They have had a couple of hits the last 15 years. They put on an awesome show. Everybody that I've talked to that's seen them live, they're a performance band. That's their claim to fame. They've had a couple hits. They're not well known across the United States, but they put on an amazing, awesome show. So we went after them based on some suggestions from the public, and we're excited that we have that opportunity. So one slight correction, we don't have the contract for them. We need to put in an offer in order to get the contract. So I would need town administrator to sign a letter of offer in order for us to get the contract. The contract will be very similar to the Root Doctors contract, so I'm not concerned. We've already got the rider information from that band, so I'm not concerned about that. But the way to get this national act is to put an offer in, then they accept it, and then they send us a contract.
Not to exceed $23,000.
Correct.
Okay.
And we're actually offering $18,000 for them, and then I've padded it with the $5,000 to cover their rider, which won't be anywhere near $5,000, but I wanted to be on the safe side.
Got it. Any other comments? Will the clerk read the roll?
Yes.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. We're not going to get into a bidding contest with anybody else? I mean, have we cleared the date with these folks, or are they waiting for our offer? They know what's coming?
They're waiting for our offer.
Okay.
Yes, as
Thank
soon
you.
as they get the offer, then they can accept it.
Okay.
We've cleared it, waiting for this council meeting.
Okay.
We're 90% sure that they're still good for that date. There is a chance that they could accept something in the next 24 hours.
Point of information, Mr. Mayor.
What's your point of information, Mr. Secretary?
Do we need to then move to amend this item as we're not approving a contract and rider, but we're instead submitting an offer? Because we don't have a contract and rider, so.
If I could ask one question. So the offer states at the very bottom that this is, once you sign the offer, it's a contract, that you're hiring this band.
Okay.
So it's a catch-22. I can't get the actual contract until we give them the offer that actually says it's a signed contract. Happy to have the town attorney look at it.
I'm just curious, how many members are in this band? Because that's a lot of booze and beer for 3 guys.
There are 8 members. 8 members in the band.
Oh, okay.
It's not going to be $5,000 for the rider. We've looked at the rider. It's hotel rooms. It's general food. They did ask for a couple of bottles of Jim Beam, but we can get some pretty good Jim Beam for $5,000.
8 guys are good.
Okay.
Any more? All right. Will the clerk read the roll, please?
Mr. Bush.
Yes.
Mr. Danielson.
Yes.
Mr. Sickinger.
Yes.
Dr. Waldman.
Yes.
And Mayor Walker.
Yes. Approval of the contract rider for the Root Doctors not to exceed $7,000. We do have that contract.
We do.
Okay. I'll make a motion. I made that motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
All right. Mr. Danielson?
I at least know who the Root Doctors are, so I'm okay with this one.
Okay, Mr. Bush.
A little more local, so.
Dr. Wallman.
I'm okay.
Okay, and Mr. Signature, you're good. All right, clerk, read the roll, please.
Mr. Bush?
Yes.
Mr. Danielson?
Yes.
Mr. Sickinger?
Yes.
Dr. Waldman?
Yes.
And Mayor Walker?
Yes. Approval of the contracting writer for Corey Smith to perform at the orchestra not to exceed $21,000. I'll make that motion. Is there a second? Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second. And again, same deal. This is the entertainment on Saturday night?
Saturday night.
Saturday night, yeah. Mr. Danielson?
This is Saturday night's entertainment.
Correct.
Warmouth is Friday nights?
Correct.
Okay.
Cowboy.
And this is mostly a country fella?
He's a country.
Crossover?
Yeah, crossover.
I've listened to some of his stuff, so at least I'm familiar.
Oh, excellent.
No, I'm not familiar with Mr. Smith. Is his TikTok follower count relevant to the conversation? So this is our headliner. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, Mr. Bush.
Sounds good.
Okay, Mr. Bush. Dr. Wallman.
Sounds good to me, too.
Okay, clerk, read the roll, please.
Mr. Bush?
Yay.
Mr. Danielson?
Yes.
Mr. Sickinger?
Yes.
Dr. Waldman?
Yes.
And Mayor Walker?
Yes. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I've had to Google all these people.
Approval to appoint Ms. Meta James to the Accommodations Tax Committee, the vacant position that's been on our vacant since we've had this committee, because we didn't have 2 hospitality lodging places, but now we do, and she applied for it. Her application is on file with the appropriate committee, appropriate fund, appropriate paperwork, rather. Sorry. I'll make that motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any comment, Mr. Singh?
Just to say that I'm pleased that if the vote to approve goes forward, that we'll have the second spot filled and have additional representation on the ATAX.
Mr. Danielson?
This is the new hotel, right? The Stay Apartments.
Yeah.
I met her. She seems like a wonderful lady. I only have a technical question. If she was to leave the employ of there, obviously she would have to leave our accommodations. So is it more of a position of her position versus her personally?
Yes.
I guess is the question.
Yes,
Because she's on that hotel?
Correct. Correct. They can appoint anybody they want from that hotel to be the representative, but that's a requirement. They have to be in that lodging business. Mr. Bush?
I'm fine.
You fine. Ms. Dr. Waller, you had some concern?
I'm okay now.
Okay. Will the clerk read the roll?
Mr. Bush?
Yay.
Mr. Danielson?
Yes.
Mr. Sickinger?
Yes.
Dr. Waldman?
Yes.
And Mayor Walker?
Yes. Thank you. And last on our list, approval of the lease agreement between the town of Irmo and the South Carolina Department of Public Safety. Those are the people that pull over the 18-wheelers and dump trucks on I-26 and I-20. They're all headquartered right here behind us. So I'm surprised nobody has figured that out yet. That's a good thing. I make a motion that we approve that new lease agreement. And is there a second?
I will second.
Mr. Sickinger, and any comments, Mr. Sickinger?
Nope, I'm
Okay. Mr. Danielson?
Why are we giving this property away so cheap?
This is consistent with what we've been charging in the past. It started off about 15 years ago, 10 to 15 years ago. They were paying about $7.45 then. It's been going up about 10% since. That lease has finally ran up, and now we're going to 5-year terms. They did do a lot of improvements to that facility when they moved in, to the tune of about $40,000.
So you're okay with this?
Yes.
Putting aside that it's a fellow enforcement area, you're okay with this?
Yes, I'm completely supportive of it for a lot of reasons. They've been great neighbors. They don't make a splash. They don't have a lot of foot traffic. They don't take up a lot of parking spaces. They keep their trash picked up. I mean, we have zero knowledge that they're even here sometimes. It's better than having the building, vacant.
Okay, Mr. Bush.
I just feel like we should burn them on inflation, but I'll go with what you're saying.
Dr. Wallman.
I don't have any questions.
Okay. And I don't have any questions, but they're paying $1,080 a month. $1,000. And when they first got this lease, as Courtney said, they had to spend about $40,000 because they had to abate the asbestos over there. And that was a big deal. We would have had to do it if we were going to try to use that for anything else. But they paid for it. They got it done. AC, I think, went south on them. They paid for that to get that fixed. So it's a good deal. When they leave there, we're going to have a place, if they decide to move on, we have a place that's ready to go for somebody else to use. That being said, will the clerk call the roll, please?
Mr. Bush?
Yay.
Mr. Danielson?
Yay.
Mr. Sickinger?
Yes.
Dr. Waldman?
Yes.
And Mayor Walker?
Yes, thank you. And at this point, we are at the end of our agenda. Presentation by citizens. Are there any citizens that wanted to address council? Ms. Cheryl Johnson, are you still here? Come on up. Thank you. Would you put those pictures up, please, of the park?
I have some pictures here. This is what I'm concerned about.
She's got it on the screen right there. We got it.
All right, and I've got some more.
Okay.
So, well, those about the thing. No, you can have them. I'm concerned about our kids at the playground, and I just feel like they need more. And we have taken our grandchildren over to the playground off of Gervais in West Columbia, and it is a small area, but it is fantastic. My grandkids don't want to leave. It's just so much fun. There, as you can see by the pictures, there are a lot of neat little things that I feel like that maybe our park could incorporate. The zip line, they have one for the older kids, one for the younger kids. They love it. The little swing, and I don't have a good picture of that one. I'm not a good photographer, as you can see. And I don't think it's up there. But, the little container that the little small baby's in, there are 2 of them over here. They've got something over there that fits like the 2-year-old that is so safe, and the kids love it. They don't want to get out of it. There are benches around. It's also colorful, and the kids just look like they're all having such a great time. My little 3-year-old granddaughter loves the climb, and there's like a little climbing wall there. She loves the little thing where you have your balance beam thing. And also, there's just all kinds of things. And then 2 of those pictures show, 3 of them show instruments that are not necessarily in that park. They're a little bit further over where the kids can work with sound and all. It's just neat. And also the color. Our park does not have color. I think we should get some of the artists from the high school and have them paint hopscotch or little caterpillars that they can count on, ABCs, some just characters. And so the kids are walking along the pathway, they can see these and it'll be a way to learn. So I just want some more things for our kids. And that's why I'm here.
Thank you, Ms. Johnson. Appreciate your information.
Can I nominate her for the newly formed position of volunteer Irmo Parks Director? Just remember, this is a volunteer position. It pays very well.
And thank you very much. That's a good idea. Judy Davis. Ms. Davis, thank you.
I'm Judy Davis, and I'm at 236 Elstow Road, and I wanted to update you on a water problem that we're having in our cul-de-sac. A resident at 232 Elstow spoke last time. I first contacted the water department on December 4th, and after that, 3 different men came out to look at the problem. I spoke to each of them. Then we started having additional problems in our neighborhood in January, and that coincided with the digging of the AT&T fiber optic cables. Our water was dirty. I called them out. A person from the water company came out and spoke with me. The muddy water wasn't due to that, but due to all the other breaks in the neighborhood that the digging was causing. But he looked at our problem again. He told me that all the different service requests that the neighbors had put in had been combined into one work order, and that was on January 8th. Then we had some additional water problems in the neighborhood on January 26th. Our water was cut off again, not dealing with our issue, but then back to ours on February 11th. I stopped the people that were outside working, the ANSCO employees that were in our yard working. They could not speak to me because they only spoke Spanish, but they called out their supervisor. I spoke to him. He then called the AT&T person. They both came out and looked at the yard because at this point, not only do we have this leak in the cul-de-sac that's made this huge, like little, volcano type thing, the water's now encroaching on our yard. And my yard has a 10 feet by 30 feet long by 15 feet wide patch that's just swampy. I almost lost my shoes trying to walk through there to get pictures to bring. It is so bad. So what's happening, the ANSCO and AT&T said when they dug there, the water problem was awful. They could hardly dig. And then at that point, they said the water is now following the tunnels that they put in for the cable to go through, and it's now flooding our yard and going under our driveway, and there's algae sitting on top of the standing water. It's just really getting bad and really encroaching on my property as well as the neighbors' properties.
So is this you're saying AT&T?
ANSCO is the contractor that AT&T is using to put in the cable.
Okay, and they're the ones tell you that that problem is being...
It was both of them, ANSCO and AT&T, said it was the water company's problem due to the leak in the cul-de-sac.
Eric, can we fix that?
Yeah, can you give her an update? Yeah. You could. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. That's Corley. I think that's Corley. Are you still here? No, that was the other one. Okay. One of the things that we talked about at our workshop is the motto that the town goes by, and that is, no one should ever leave town hall feeling defeated. There's always something that can be done to help. And on that vein and on that note, as you know, Mr. Sickinger and Mr. Danielson and Mr. Bush and Dr. Waldman and myself, we all strive to make connections, to make relationships up, so that when things like that happen, especially when your property is starting to get messed up from something that's out of your control. I mean, you didn't call for AT&T to put fiber optic in your front yard, but whatever they've done caused this to happen. We're on it. We're gonna try to use our influences as elected officials to correct that situation, and know that we are working on that. So I thank you for letting us know about that, and we're gonna do our best to make sure we can do something to help you. Also, I want to point out before we end the meeting, if there's nothing else new, we have several citizens committees. If you go on our town website, there's citizen boards and committees. One of them is the beautification committee, which then it's spelled out what they do on the website. The events committee, road committee, and stream and flooding committee. So that's a good committee to get on if you want to talk about the roads and the flooding issues we're having. You get on these committees not to necessarily complain. You get on these committees to bring that attention to the council, so it's front and center, and be that voice in the community. There's no way that the five of us can manipulate the 20 miles of real estate that Irmo encompasses to know everything that's happening, everything that's going on. So we rely on y'all to have those committees that will do that. On that note, Mr. Courtney, would you call a meeting or put out some announcements that we have these citizen boards and committees, and ask if we wanted to have any volunteers that want to sign up for that? And then we can have a meeting scheduled sometime next week on these committees and make sure that they're activated, okay? Thank you. Anything else, anybody, before we close?
I have just one thing,
Yeah.
if you wouldn't mind. I could add, I was invited to lunch last Friday by the Columbia Lunch Club, and Mayor Rickerman was the speaker, Columbia, and I took a lot of good things away from there. Two things that he said that would help explain this predicament we're in. I believe he used the number 4,000 backorder jobs from their utilities. 4,000. So that tells you what we're dealing with. He also said they were, I don't remember the number, but many employees down out of their utility companies. And they were his goal was to quickly streamline their regulatory efforts so that they could then outsource all of these water leaks and all of these issues that we're having to private contractors in town. So they are working on it, and it is a mess, but I'm confident that the mayor of Columbia is acknowledging it, first of all, and trying to do something about it. So just wanted to share that with the folks.
Okay, anybody else? Thank you. We don't have an executive session. Is there a motion for adjournment?
So moved.
Is there a second?
A second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Meeting is now adjourned. Thank you. We want to take a